Okay, guys, there's three things happening in the market right now. I'm going to call it a chicken egg complex, a rate trade, and outdated houses. Let me explain. So, first, to understand, the market is still there. There are still plenty of buyers out there that didn't get a chance to buy what they wanted in the past 3 years through COVID and this craziness. They didn't get a chance to buy what they wanted, and they're still out there looking to buy. There are no houses available, okay? And that brings me to the chicken egg complex as well as the rate trade. Again, we'll get there. But just know that the demand, okay, the media is forgetting where the demand is coming from. They always talk about the value of the home, and they never talk about the utility of the home. So a home provides more than just a value. You're not just buying an asset that's 500,000 today and going to be 501 tomorrow. Okay, you're buying something that provides utility, intangible value, and use. So things like safetiness for your family. There's a safe place for your kids. Okay, there's a warm place when it's cold outside. There's a cool place when it's hot outside. There's a roof over your head when it's raining. Okay, that shelter factor. Then you have like the relationships you're able to build by entertaining and hosting, and you have the work from home life situation. All of these things, right? You name it. There's so many other things, reasons to have a home other than you can buy something for one price that's going to be worth more tomorrow. But the media tends to like focus in on that one piece. And so they're confused when buyers are confused when they go to find a house and they're like, I thought the market was slow. And it's like, well, it's slow because there's no houses, but this is like the most updated house that's been listed in the past 3 months. And there's like 40 people that want it. So it's not really slow. You're forgetting that people are still out there and they still want to buy a house. So first and foremost, understand that. But getting into the chicken egg and the rate trade first and foremost. And I have solutions for all three of these things, by the way. So the chicken egg complex is there are sellers out there who want to move. However, because the supply is so low, they don't know where they're going to go. They don't sell. So therefore, they're perpetuating the low supply. If they were to list their property, then that would provide a home for somebody else, increasing supply. And then they could move to somewhere else. And then that potential buyer, not all of them, but some of those buyers have a house to sell. And so by listing their house, these buyers feel comfortable about buying that. And then those buyers feel comfortable about selling their house. And those buyers feel comfortable about selling their house. So it's like a chain link effect for anyone who already owns a house and is also planning on buying. That creates inventory. But because there's no supply, it's a chicken egg complex and everybody's handcuffed. And so they just stay where they are. I have a solution for this. 2, the rate trade. Okay. Same seller, not worried about what house they want to buy, just doesn't have they don't want to trade their rate because they're at a 3% rate. They don't want to trade it in for a 6.5% rate. Even though they can afford it, they're just like, nah, we'll hang tight, right? We're happy with our place now. We don't really need to buy. And this is like a really bad time because rates are like double what we have. So they just sit tight. Further, ongoing, perpetuating the supply issue. Okay, I have a solution for that as well. And then the third thing is the outdated house, which we'll get into. So because things are expensive still, both with rate and with pricing, buyers are much more picky. They're not willing to lose on their equity equation, meaning they are not willing to spend more than what they could sell the house for tomorrow. Some people in the past, through the last 3 years, they were okay with that, understanding that they got to live in that house for like probably 3 years, maybe 5 to 7 years in order to be at that break-even point where they could sell, pay closing costs and commissions, and break even or make a little bit of money. They were willing to lose on that equation short term to gain what they wanted for the long term. Now buyers are no longer willing to lose on that equation, which means it's a very fair market. So if you have a $500,000 house that needs $100,000 worth of work, will it be worth the total of $600,000 tomorrow when you're done with that work? And if the answer is no, then the buyers will not buy it. And that's where the pricing has started to decrease. So an outdated house will sit there until not only, okay, let's say it's a $500,000 house, needs $100,000 worth of work. Let's say it'll be worth $600,000. Those buyers are still not comfortable paying $5,000. They need that thing to be at $475,000 so that they can comfortably put in that $100,000 and then also sell at some point in the, even though it's not for 5-7 years in the future, they don't care. They want that equation to be fair now. And so those properties need to sell at a discount in order for buyers to pull the trigger. The flip is true on the updated houses. Twofold. One, you don't need the $100,000 of cash to put into that $600,000 property, right? To get it to 600. You don't need the 100,000. It's already there. So when your house is updated, it's already there at the 600, and someone can afford a little bit more money in their loan as opposed to down payment or cash. So you probably get 610 or maybe 625, right? So you're going to sell for even more than you could sell for if the house was outdated plus the 100 grand updates, because someone is willing to pay for that more than one person. That's what buyers want right now. They're being very picky about it, but that's okay. They will pay more money at a higher interest rate for something that needs zero work after they buy it, as opposed to the former, where it's high price still, high interest rate still, and I need 100 grand, right? That's what they're not willing to do, and that's where those prices start to come down. So that being said, the first solution on that last piece, which is the outdated house that needs all the work, Compass can't provide $100,000, okay? But Compass can provide $15,000 to spruce your house up. And in theory, that's between you and me, what we're going to spend it on, okay? So you get 15 grand, it is a loan, and you got to pay Compass back. But you and I get to spend the money on what makes sense in your particular house. It may be all going towards the master bathroom. It may be going all towards the floors. Or maybe we're just going to do light fixtures throughout the whole house. Maybe light switches, maybe some smart home stuff. You know, maybe there's 2 windows that you need to do and a couple vanities. Like, we can spread this money out however we want. But in theory, we're putting money into the house to dial it in a little bit more, to get a little bit more money on that front end, so buyers feel more comfortable paying what you want and then some. And then you pay that money back at closing. So that's one solution that helps with the cash flow piece if you don't have it, or if you do have it, but it's tied up in some sort of, you know, some sort of asset that you don't want to have to sell right now because things are pretty low, then Compass provides that cash flow. So that's one solution for the outdated house. To the trading of the rate issue, where you're at a 3% rate, you don't want to trade for 6.5. Okay, I can't get you a 3% rate, but there is something called the 2-1 buy down. I've done another video about this, a little bit more in detail. Basically, you're getting a 2% discount for the first year and a 1% discount for the second year. It does cost money to do this, but that money goes into an account so that if rates on their own come down quite a bit, you can refinance, and whatever's left in that account comes back to you. So that's one thing that helps with the rate. If you're looking to, you don't want to trade the rate super, super high, and you do think the rates are going to come down over the next couple of years, which I hope happens, then the 2-1 buy down is a really, really good program. The last thing, the chicken egg complex. I don't have a major solution for this, but I have a potential solution. And that is the private network. The private network allows us as agents to list your property on the MLS, and it only goes to agents and agents sending it to their buyers. Okay, it is not on public websites like Zillow and Realtor.com. Okay, and even certain brokerages, they can provide, some aren't even doing this, but some that have the technology and the wherewithal have changed it so that at least their website provides access to their private listings that are listed by their agents at their brokerage. Compass is one of them. So you can see Compass's private listings on Compass's website publicly. But you can't see Baird & Warner's or Redfin's or whatever on our website, right? So you're not getting all of them unless you're getting it from a realtor. So I can send you all of these private listings, first and foremost on the buy side, right? So you're at least seeing everything that's available, not just what's publicly able to be seen. And then on the selling side, we can list your property privately, which avoids market time and it avoids price changes and status changes. So you can go private, wait for a buyer to come through, and you can explain the situation. I would be doing this, obviously. Hey guys, my sellers need to find a place. That's the most important thing right now. That's why we're listed privately. We're willing to accept your offer at X price or whatever, as long as you can give us some time. And we ask for whatever we want. And if those buyers can't hang on, like they can't handle that scenario, then they can move on, right? But if they're like, hey, you know what? We got like 90 days. It's a lot longer than normal. We'll give you 90 days to find a place, but then we're probably gonna have to bounce because we just can't hang on that long. Fine. So we give us 90 days. If we don't find a place, we've been under contract for 90 days. And normally that shows in market time. that shows as a status change. You were contingent for 90 days. Now you're reactivated and you're back on the market. And everybody thinks, oh my gosh, like what's wrong with this property? What happened in the last contract? There's none of that on the private network, right? So we can accept that offer, no problem. Go try and shop and find a property the next 90 days. And if we can't, no sweat. We're just on the private network, which is still off the public network. Even if you were under contract publicly, you're still off the market privately. So the private network can solve problems for buyers, having access to more potential listings, as well as sellers just kind of throwing it out there to see what happens. And if you can get something and then find the property you want to buy, it all works out. And again, it's a perpetual thing. So if we can get more listings on the private network, make you feel comfortable about not tracking market time, price history, or status changes, then hopefully there's more inventory for those buyers to look at. And then we start to solve this supply problem. So that's my 2 cents. If there's anything else you guys want to hear from me or talk about, please let me know. Thanks for watching.